Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the RaceKraft Simulations V8 Vets Split 4 broadcast. I am John Van Ree. With me this evening, we've got Braden and Marty. How are we, boys?
Not too bad for a Sunday. Mate, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad for a Sunday night. Everyone's had a busy weekend or a cruisy weekend, whichever way you want to look at it. Just going to start off by having a quick look at this track. Of course, we're racing tonight from the one and only Mid-Ohio. It's quite a tricky little circuit. We start on the start-finish straight, and then we head through sweeping turn one, where we then head up the hill to the keyhole, which is a big sweeping hairpin, and then back down the hill all the way down to China Beach, where we then go through the elevation, up through Madness, and then down into turn 6 through the S's, and then sweeping across the undulation at turn 9 into Thunder Valley, up the hill into the carousel. You can already pinch a Gunter spitting out his words. That's not a carousel, he'd be telling us. We then come through turn 13 back on the start-finish straight. Very quick little circuit. It's probably, I think, our best times around there. We were looking at about a 125.7. Yeah, it's got its own unique challenges, and I think we really threw it at the over 50s on Monday night, where I made them do this in the rain, which was a bit interesting. Yeah, but she's a tough little circuit, and I think we're going to be in for some absolute shocks tonight, I think. Let's have a quick look now. We might jump straight onto the grid, have a look at that as well, see if there's any surprises in there. And it basically was. It was Daryl Callaghan. He was in pole position. That was a great effort from the rookie, and he shared that front row with KO Philo, and that same thing again, another rookie from We Race. So 2 rookies on the front row. And then sitting in third was Nathan Favreau from Tulip Racing, and he lined up alongside you, Marty, in fourth from Pacific Esports. On the third row, this bloke, absolutely sensational to see him with the efforts that he puts in with his driving. Carl Pickering in fifth, lining up alongside player 1, Jeff Sanford. On the fourth row was the next of our rookies, Brad Grant, lining up alongside Shane Patterson from Nova Sim Sports. So Paddo still getting himself qualifying in the top 10. Great efforts from Paddo. And then on the fifth row, Darren Friend from Old Mates and Sons lines up alongside Peter Baxter, also in the top 10. Tommy DeWitt pulled one out and surprised everybody, getting himself into 11th, alongside on the sixth row, Matthew Fu from Apex Esports. So we've basically got 5 rookies in the top 12. Very impressive. And over the page, we then went to Braden O'Loughlin back in 13th, lining up alongside another rookie from Shadow Racing, Lester Craig. On the next row was Phil Whiting from Passion Sim Racing. So Phil, a fair way back from a guy who's been knocking on the front door quite regularly, week in, week out. He lines up alongside Adam Hughes from Gamma Flare Esports. And then on the 9th row is Jeff Eddy from Team AJR, lining up alongside Misfits Ross Watson. On the 10th row, Darren Newell Schaefer from Omen Racing lines up alongside his teammate Glenn Wilbo. On the 11th row was Kevin O'Neill from We Race, lining up alongside Doug Wright from Old Mates and Sons. And then on the 12th row was Darren Freer, lining up alongside Wilco from Locked On Lads Racing. And over the page, we then had Phil Marsh from PJM lining up alongside Anita Buckland from Old Mates and Sons. David Baldock all the way back in 27th, lining up alongside player 1's Tim Hall. On the 15th row was John Van Reef from WKMP, lining up alongside Bruce Galloway. And then on the 16th row, we had Craig Rose from Quantum Racing alongside Greg Shelton from Mustang North Queensland. And then we had Darren Vermey from 1MLT lining up alongside David Logstar from Team AJR. Vaughan Robinson was back with the last man with a time. He was sitting back in 35th. And, of course, Travis is part of our race control team. And as we just finish clicking this over here, we then had Sean Slater, who didn't set a time. Lucas Burt's our safety car driver. David Leslie didn't set a time. Nathan Cadman didn't set a time. Tim Vermey didn't set a time. Gunther von Nordschleife didn't set a time. And Luke Neal is the other member of our race control team. So that is the grid, boys.
Nice. What was Gunther doing? Was he sitting in the beach at China Beach drinking cocktails or something?
Don't know. I think he was just trying to get a grip of what the track, I think, was his main ailment that was coming back to us.
There's a new one for me too, actually.
Not a new circuit. I just think just lacking a little bit of time. He's been busy with work commitments of late. Was down in Melbourne at the car show last weekend, down in Melbourne again this weekend for some coaching. So, yeah, he's been busy. And I think he just spent Thursday down at Sydney Motorsport Park with a group that basically had a mixture of cars. So he's teaching some guys how to drive a Lamborghini, apparently. So, yeah, he had been very busy. So
Yeah, it's definitely one of those tracks that you got to put a few laps in practice. I was lucky to get in one night that week, but yeah, it would have been a struggle just turning up on the night. Tough track.
A very tough track. Nathan Cadman saying he started back with the penalty. That was the reason why he was at the rear of grid. Okay, anyway, we might light the wick on this, boys. And so we just look where I've got to go first. We might drop ourselves back into about the middle of the pack. Keep a bit of an eye on Matthew Fu, and we'll see what happens from here. Anyway, let's light a wick on this one, and hope I've got my in-game noise turned up. And we're away. Looks like a reasonable start. He's going for a gap in the middle. And it's a bit of a touch there with Rob Baxter, I think. And that is Matty Fu going backwards. He's parked there at the end of the main straight with his bumper in the middle there as the rest of the boys come up now into the keyhole. Callahan gets the jump on Philo, Favero. 3 rookies, 1, 2 and 3. And then we have Marty Hughes, Car
Pickering. 990 requesting tow.
And that was 990, which I think was Matty Fu, I think, looking for a tow. So about to already go under the safety car scenario. So a lap 1 safety car. Just to change the game for us, boys. Something different.
I wasn't sure how the safety cars were going to pan out because there's plenty of runoff at this place. You know, lots of grass and not many walls like we've had at some tracks we've been to. But yeah, he was unlucky to find the wall fairly early.
Yeah, there's not many walls to hit, and he hit it pretty hard. So yeah, lap 1 safety car. So interesting to see here if anyone goes for a dive down the lane, knowing that you can't do your compulsory pit stop until you've completed 1 full lap of green flag racing, which we have not done here.
The missus just sticks her head in and says, Hawthorne's getting thrashed. Geez, 63 to 8. Wow.
He's getting thrashed. Right, safety car picking the field up. So I think Glenn Wilbo was involved in a bit of action there at turn 1 as well. A few things happened here. So let's have a quick look. Brad Grant's up 2 spots. Marty Hughes is the only returning driver to be in the top 5. Carl Pickering in 6, so he's down 1 spot. Sanford down 1 spot. Paddo has held station. Darren Friends held station. And Braden, you're up 3 spots, mate.
Yeah, so I got a pretty good jump. There was 1 car went to the left, 1 to the middle, and I went up to the right. Sorry, and I went up the middle. But yeah, no, it was had a good run up the middle, up the inside of turn 1. It either works or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Got to look after your tyres at this place, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is a challenge, this place. You underestimate the undulations and the effects that it has on it.
And the off-camber turns as well.
Yeah, that's right. You come over the brow of a hill and your car unloads and you put your foot on the gas and it's just spinning.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Out to kill you. And also coming up through Madness there as well. I know about later on in the race, there was a fair bit of debris time to time as well. Not only were you unloading the car over the crest, you were losing front grip because of the debris on the track.
You come down the downhill sections and you're on the brakes and the front loads up even more, so you're grubbing your tyres when you're coming into the corner as well.
Mm. Of course, the over 50s had to deal with rain around here on Monday night.
That's cruel.
Would have been a fair few incidents of that one, surely.
Yeah. Luke, the 2 Lukes, Luke Ullman and Luke Neville, did a really good job with race control. Very tough gig, that one. And for those, hopefully you already know, but looks like there's a bit of precipitation about at Donington as well for Thursday night. So that's going to be rather interesting to watch.
Yeah, I was actually trying a few cracky laps there this afternoon. and I quickly found something else to do.
Definitely made it very interesting on last Monday night, and it's pretty much the same concept of adopting the same concept of changing conditions. So looking forward to seeing how everybody handles it. So I think the over 50s have had a bit of an insight, bit of a look, so may favour them a little bit, may not.
Maybe a few practice laps needed this week.
Yeah, if you haven't done anything in the wet before, I highly recommend it. But it is variable conditions. It's not just going to be constant rain. The weather will change. So
Definitely been a polarising thing with iRacing bringing the rain in. Like everyone was screaming for it for years, like bring on the rain, and then as soon as it came, there was a lot of people saying, take it back. And I think it's a good challenge. I think it can be overdone sometimes.
Oh, look, at this stage with vets, we're looking at doing it once a season.
Yeah.
1 out of 10 is probably enough.
They brought it in. It seemed to be all the official series and all the official races had pouring down rain, puddles everywhere. It was just like, look, we've got a new toy and we want to show everyone.
Probably because my reflexes aren't quick enough to catch it in the rain.
Safety car has pulled away.
It's a good thing about a safety car on lap 1. You don't have any wave arounds to do.
No wave arounds, and no one's thinking of fuel stops. So the only ones that went in were Slater, Cadman and Leslie and Sholton. So I think they were all caught up, involved in the incident. So I think Cadman started from the lane maybe.
You can still call in and take a fast repair. It just doesn't count as a pit stop.
That's correct. It's a compulsory pit stop. So, an eye on here. Callahan about to go green. And does he go? He's away. So Callahan heads him off. And just going to quickly look for DeWitt. And it's a bit wide.
It's easy to do on that one.
Definitely. A little bit loose. Missed something. I made a lap there somewhere. Yeah, here he goes. So Tommy, the big lose into the middle of the circuit. Not much to hit out there. Braden under a fair bit of pressure here from Paddock. Gets the job done. Moves up 5 spots now into 8. So that's a great start. And going further up, Callahan, these boys here having a great battle. Husey, you've tucked in the 3rd now. What are you thinking of these 2 rookies in front of you?
Yeah, basically just waiting for the race to settle down a bit. I found that some of their strengths were in some parts and some of mine were in other parts, so it sort of evened out. Didn't want to go too hard on the tyres either.
Good to see these new guys up the front there.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's good to see anyone, new coming in and having a decent crack. So yeah, no, very good. No, real supportive of everybody. So yeah, happy to see them do well. So
Yeah, definitely been good. They all came in. They all worked pretty hard during pre-qual, which has been great to see. And then, yeah, they've absolutely picked up the vibe and have run with it really well.
They definitely don't drive like new drivers or rookie drivers, so they've got good RaceKraft and good pace.
As Darryl goes a little bit wide, just touches the grass, opens the door up for KO.
where is KO from?
Queensland, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah, Central Coast, I think. Or the Sunshine Coast. No, I can't remember. You did
I
tell me.
think Sunshine Coast off the top of my head. Give me half a
So
second
we
and
mainly
I'll...
got we mainly got the Kiwis and Aussies in the vets.
We've got we've got 3 Americans, 2 based in America, and the other one's based in Asia. And the 2 based in America, ironically, live about 15 k's apart.
Oh, that's crazy.
And don't know each other, or didn't know each other. So,
Gee, that was close.
so we had Jeff Eddy, who's in here, split 4 with us, and Lester Craig. They're both Americans, and then we've got Stacey Boyd, who I think split 2 or split 1. Yeah, Stacey's in Buffalo, and Jeff's from Acon in New York, so both from New York State, and yeah, basically about 15 k's apart.
Okay, Sunshine Coast I've just seen.
Yeah, I think it was Sunshine Coast off memory.
Yeah, Sunshine.
There's a few boys up there from the Sunshine Coast in the league, so yeah, so definitely fitting in very well, and he's doing a really good job here. Like he's keeping Darryl honest. We race. So he's got Kevin O'Neill out there with him as well. So where's Kevy? It's a bit further back at the moment. So he's got his teammate and Kevin with him. So Kevin doing pretty well. Another one drives fairly hard.
Go hard or go home.
Yeah, that's the idea, isn't it? Yeah, we've got about 8 drivers from the Sunshine Coast in the league, which is fairly good numbers from that part of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
There we go, Sunny Coast. Oh, look, it's like I said, it's one of those tracks you got to put time into, and I definitely don't have that at the moment.
Yeah, time for.
So yeah, it kind of shows in my driving.
I mean, I'm trying to find that work, life, home, racing.
Yeah, something a bit like that.
I can't do any practice at all. I just turn up on a Thursday night and hope for the best.
Sean Slater's the crazy one. He just rocks up. Oi, oi.
Ooh.
That's Greg being turned around. And Rob Baxter and Whiting having a cracking battle here. And Baxter going in for the early stop. So trying to mix up the strategy. Probably a little bit too early, I think, to make it really pay. But we'll see a bit later. Brad Grant now trying to get a move done on Nathan Favero. Shout out. Big shout out to Doug Wright in the chat as well. Another one of the rookies in this season. These two side by side is a touch. I think that's Grant.
It was going so well up until then.
That's Grant. Grant is going down into China Beach, something ferocious. And very, very lucky there, I think, not to have the car too much more damaged. Darren Friend now in a bit of a battle here with Adam Hughes.
Grant, he was on the radio to race control before he'd even left the beach.
I'm just going to drop in here. Lester Craig from Shadow Racing. And Glenn Wilboat tucked in behind him. It's just such a short track to try and make a move. It's running a little wide.
It's definitely a hard track to get passes done on.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
And
Waiting for a mistake.
Someone will run deep or run wide or oops.
Yep.
oh, pushed out a little bit there. Definitely battling through here. Just stay here, jump on with Darren. So Friendy definitely been caught up in a bit of the action. And Friendy makes a slight little error there. Gets himself off the wall. Lucky not to do much damage. It's good to have some of these tracks with a bit more runoff than what we had at Bathurst.
Yeah, we'd
Yep.
have had a few safety cars then.
Hmm. How are you, Mr. Dial?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
No, Mark.
So, Mark, how are you, bud?
Yeah, good thanks, guys.
Good.
Lukey Powell out in the chat. Lukey didn't race on Thursday night due to work commitments. A few boys were a little bit relieved. Let's jump on here with Kevin O'Neill. In a bit of a battle.
Are we going in for a pit?
There's a few going in. Gunter's going in. Ross Watson's going in just then. You boys.
Went past and people diving into the pits. I was thinking, geez, do I go now? Do I go now? And I think after every single lap, just one more. Crew chief called out, you've got 2 laps of fuel left. And I'm like, oh well.
I think just
Yeah, now we're going.
because of the difficulty to pass, I think a few people just rolling the dice on an undercut. So worth doing, worth having an attempt.
Get that clear track too.
Yeah. That's a big benefit of it.
There we go, Razy just corrected me. I've called Rob Baxter, Peter. And, second tap. But car's still going. Kevin's still there. Apologies to Rob. Freudian slip.
I think the first tap was a warning.
Normally we have Peter in here with us. That's probably why it's a Freudian slip. Doug Wright doing quite well here. Under a bit of pressure from Tommy DeWitt. And we're on lap 11. Let's go have a look at Mr. Schaefer, see how he's getting on. Right, Daniel back down here. So Daniel hasn't had his stop yet, so he's back in the pack a little bit, battling away with Craig Rose in front and Nathan Cadman behind. Well, Sarge was missing for that one. Hopefully he's back this week. A little bit of a tap, little bit of another tap. Synchronised spinning. Cadman gets through safely. It's the free 2 for 1. Let's just go.
They both attended the same school for spin correction.
Yeah.
It's pretty synchronised.
Definitely done well. So Callahan now still under a fair bit of pressure from Philo. So we're on lap 11, starting to get the stage not too far away now from what you would probably say is the third split, which is lap 14. And I believe you could get about 17 laps out of your tank out of the 50 litres we started with. So definitely a few boys going for that undercut wheelbar win this time. But KO definitely putting the pressure on Callahan this time by. As a look to the outside.
Good battle.
Yeah.
Makes people do funny things when you see a car that close in your rear view.
Oh, that's pretty much all you can really do around here is just put that pressure on and hope they make a mistake.
They're driving well, the boys.
Hmm. So a few more lads into the lane as well.
Be a tough one in this situation for KO. You'd almost be tempted to dive in and take the.
Oh, KO!
Oh, yeah.
That is not what you want to do, and not just off a little bit. He is way back there, and a bit of a flick spin to get himself corrected. Gets himself back on track. And lap 13. At turn 1, the exit of turn 1, if you're really pushing it, as you're seeing there, definitely an opportunity to make a mistake.
It's easy to get a ton of oversteer out of it.
Yeah. He's jump back on with Paddo.
Yeah.
He's Paddo under a lot of pressure from Whiting. It's Whiting with fellow behind him now as well, so he'd be trying to put his head down and get himself composed again after the incident. See that undulation change and how careful you got to be getting on the throttle.
Yeah, you got to feather it. That's it.
Even that turn 1 exit you were talking about is probably one of the flatter corners on the track, but it just seems to do something different every time. You do the same thing every time, and you run the same line, and sometimes you get oversteer, and sometimes you don't. It was a tricky one.
Oh, yeah. And even more fun when we did it in the wet.
Yeah.
No, don't go there.
You'd be braking halfway up the straight, nearly.
And see Rob here putting a lot of pressure on Darren Vermate. To us backstart, one of the early stoppers. To the inside. Can't quite get the move done. And on the gas out a little bit too early. Just a rub on the wall.
Good old turn 1.
So Bulldog here.
I noticed with a lack of Bulldog in the chat, he must be watching the football. Or was that your plan to put this on Sunday night while they were playing?
That wasn't my plan.
You could have said yes.
Coming from New Zealand, I'm not really into my AFL. I'm more into my league, or very much into my league. So I don't really want to talk about that either. With my Warriors playing the Melbourne Storm today, they got absolutely pantsed.
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah, 44-12 or something.
Oof. That's good, I heard.
Yeah, Melbourne have a habit of doing that to us.
Anyway, Bulldog could be very happy anyway.
Yeah. Very.
So who's his team?
He's a Port supporter, Port Adelaide.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, it's only half time. They'll probably lose it from me.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't surprise him.
You better send the tissues out now.
What about you other guys? What are your teams?
Geelong supporter.
Yeah, same here.
I'm listening.
Phil still battling away here.
Good little battle.
Trying to work his way past. He's going to jump on your teammate. Where are you, Lester? He's doing very well. He's still in 11th.
Yeah, we're getting a running commentary in Split 3 in the Discord.
So we must be close to some pit stops now, I reckon. Lap 16 up.
Yeah, 17 was about your fuel lap number, so will be the next 2 laps. We should start to see a flurry of stops. I suppose it goes back a lap as well because we had the safety car. So Schaefer, Marsh and Darren Vermey in at the moment.
Definitely a stark contrast with the Bathurst race where you just start to get into a rhythm and then your safety car again. This one you could actually get a few laps under green and get a rhythm going.
Unless you're caught up in the traffic.
Yeah.
That's right.
Leicester doing well here. Still putting all sorts of pressure over Adam Hughes. And do we see a few guys peel off this time? And here we go. Flurry of running into the lane. Oh, he's got away with that.
Oh, gathered it up.
Gathered it up very well. So now we've
That
got...
wasn't how I thought that was going to end.
We've got Callahan, Pickering, Patterson, Craig, Hughes, Adam Hughes, Doug Wright, Darren Freer, Anita Buckland, Van Ree all into the lane for this stop. So big flurry happening at the moment. So we'll start to see these guys all get back out on track. So our leading car that has stopped at the moment is Callahan still. He is sitting in 8th. 9th, just lost one. He's back out on track. Bit of a worry coming out with a flurry of cars around you like this.
The dilemma when you pitted too was to, track position's so key here, how much you underfilled and how much you pay for it at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets himself past Slater. And a few others rolling back out. Darryl Brea, he's up 2 spots. He's driving very well. Of course, lucky enough to see some of the photos he's been posting up from his trip to the States. Absolute iconic vehicles. I've been into a private collection of motorsport vehicles and, yeah, some iconic ones. Very, very lucky. Got into Roush Racing, I think.
Where in the States are they?
East Coast.
Oh, yeah.
I think Darren also went to Daytona 500 as well.
That would be an experience.
I wouldn't sneeze at that.
Nah.
That would be on my bucket list.
Most of the guys now have all pitted as continue on up the front. Just going to jump on with DeWitt, Jeff Eddy. It's a good little battle here. Jeff Eddy having a great little battle with Tim Hall. And a little bit of a touch. Paul gets himself composed, gets it going again.
That could have ended up worse than it was.
Marty Hughes and Sanford roll into the lane. What does O'Loughlin do? He's going to come in as well. So is Whiting. So seeing the last of the stops occurring.
I forgot to put me iRacing Auto Pit app on, and I'm trying to hit the button to stop the refueling and kept fueling. What the?
Yeah,
You
that,
managed to stop it, or did you end up taking a full tank?
Yeah, I had enough to get to the end of the line, so at least it was a quick second stop. So. That cost me about 4 seconds, 5 seconds, I think.
Yep.
We're here in a good battle with Pickering. There's a few battles still up and down the grid. Whiting and Hall in the lane. We're starting to see the last of our stoppers. And he's trying to get a move done here. Swings to the inside. Plenty of debris on the circuit. And Philo pulls away that little bit. So he's definitely flying. It's going to go back to our mate Pickering, tucked up behind Paddo, DeWitt, Favero. This group having a great little battle.
Pretty impressive livery, though.
Yeah, Pico does a good job. Does a good job of it. Get a chance to check out his socials. Does a pre-race briefing and a post-race briefing, and very interesting. Sit back and listen to how nervous he gets, and just how chuffed he was to put himself in the top 10. They qualified 5th. Wasn't surprised. It was where I should be.
Good on you. Nice bloke, Pico.
DeWitt tucked up behind Paddo. Good little battle with this group. Might go back to another battling group. So Buckland, Craig and Adam Hughes.
Oh, Anita up 14 spots.
Driving very, very well.
Yeah, we did tell Lester that when he was behind Anita that he'd have to work really hard. And yeah, he went really quiet after that.
Yeah, she done that. She doesn't give positions away, that's for sure. Does very well.
Yeah, her driving's come along really well.
Not sure, Nathan. It's his Facebook page is one that I usually check out. I think it's Pico Industries. Yeah, Anita doing very well here. We'll go into the lane. So he's the last of our stoppers. And jump back up, Braden. You're up 9 spots in 4th.
Yep, seeing things seem to pan out all right with the pit strategy. I didn't take a lot of fuel. I wanted to try and gain a bit of track position. So I'll see how it pans out at the end and roll the dice.
That's pretty much all you can do. Just going to jump back to Pico. Where are you, Carl?
Ooh, that's close.
Having a good hard look here at Tommy.
All over him.
Billy sets the fastest lap with a 1:25.324, so he's absolutely flying.
Yeah, it's a ripper.
Oh no.
Carl into the wall is heartbreaking. That it was on the radio before. I just didn't notice that on the night. I just noticed then he was on the radio before, so wondering whether he got a bit distracted. You know, you always got to be careful. And these guys here getting closer and closer together as well.
Definitely something you got to be careful of. You hit the button sometimes to talk to the race control, and then you end up losing your rhythm or concentration and
Hmm.
cause yourself a misjustice.
I've accidentally towed before because I should take the tow button off my steering wheel, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very important one, or you make it a difficult button to use in the middle of the
Yeah.
wheel.
There were two flashing buttons on my wheel, one on the left, one on the right. One's a pit limiter and the other one's tow. What could go wrong there? Just hope my memory doesn't fail me. Is it left or right?
That's 3 things.
Yeah, is it left or right? Shit, wrong button.
Of course, it just compounds the whole situation you're in. If you're going for the button to talk to race control because you've been shafted and all of a sudden you've just towed yourself, just like, you're kidding me. Yeah, so hot tip. Anyone get it off your wheel? I've got mine on my Stream Deck. I do have one on the wheel though, but it's a very difficult button to press. Just to make it a hard work. There.
I just don't have one mapped. If I need to get out, I've got to reach for the mouse. So.
Of course,
I did it once before with Ben Anthony in the car. And I never lived it down. We crashed at Daytona.
And of course, the other thing you got to remember too, if you do tow without permission, it's not just the DSQ for the race you're in, it's also the rear good start the following week. So it does have ramifications that you got to be conscious of.
If you forget which button it is, you've got all week to remind yourself of how stupid you were.
When anyone else here wants to tell you.
Good up next week, you're still being reminded.
Going on here. Yeah, I might have missed something. Turn 1. What did I do at turn 1? Obviously, I buggered up. If my name's on the list, where's Wilco?
Bruce up 15 spots.
Paddo's still running in the top 10. Where is Wilkinson? I've lost him altogether. Hey, Wilco pitted late, so it looks like he's caught up a bit in traffic. I think I've missed what's happened to him on this lap as well. The race definitely past the halfway mark. So ticking along nicely. So Paddo.
Felt like it was a quick race.
Oh,
Time it did.
the 150k races are. They're just very quick.
No safety car, green flag racing, short track.
There we go. Nathan saying I missed Phil coming through on us. I don't think I've missed everything with Phil though, Nathan. I think there's something coming up this lap. Where is he?
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, I think it's this lap. Hang on to it.
Is it now? Is it now?
Nah, I think it's the leaders are a little bit further in front, so they've already started lap 25. So we're waiting a few corners here. He's definitely pulled away. I think what I missed was a good little side-by-side battle with Nathan. What I missed, I think. We'll stay on board here. Might just go to a bit of gyro cam. And so Phil down the back a little bit here. I was a bit surprised to see him coming through, but then also a bit of a struggle, I think, with practice this week for Phil. It's a very tough track. And he's in the beach. And of course, it's a very steep uphill from here. not doing much justice.
Oh, oh, oh dear.
And it's like,
On the radio.
just I couldn't. You're looking at your relative going, there's a car coming, there's a car coming, there's a car coming. But
Yeah,
hats off to Phil. Like, he was first in to apologise. Not only that, he sat there and waited as well. So he redressed it. And then Pico gave him a bit of a shove just to remind him that he was there. So hats off for that. Anyway, it was 0 incidents up to that stage. He's got himself into the top 10 now. Lap 26 of 42, starting to tick down. It's going
It changes how you drive when you get that first incident point. I think I was trying to get a 0x race and I was about third race distance and got the first X, and like, well, it just changes how you drive. You start attacking a bit more, that's for sure, because you're not trying to protect the 0x.
I didn't let him through, Nathan.
Mr. Bulldog's up 10. That's not a bad effort. Nathan's up 20.
Nathan's up 20.
Yeah, good job.
He had a bit of a spin there in the middle, so he's done well to bounce himself up the order. Guntra's up 21.
Oh, good job.
There's a few movers and shakers. Anita's up 14 to 12th. And Bruce Galloway, he's up 15 and 15. So a few guys making some big moves. Of course, about this stage, should start to see a few people starting to plan their second stops. Lap 28, of course, being 2/3 distance for the race. So depending on how much fuel you put in at that first stop, if you put in 12, you put in 35 litres, you'd be looking at about 12 laps to get you up to about lap 28. So we start to see some, and straight away we do. We see Callahan and Phil Ho straight in. So surprised, Marty, you've kept going. You haven't reacted to them.
No, well, I filled up, so I'll fuel till the end of the race because of...
That's right. You were telling us about that.
Yeah.
I think I took about 35 litres. I needed about 18 litres to finish at the end, but I don't think I waited too long to come in. I might as well make the most. I had enough to cover my tyres, so I thought I might as well get the most out of a set of tyres rather than running long.
Yeah, I think I had 7 litres I needed at the end. So I think I went 45 in the first stop. Underestimated a little bit. And then back half of the race, you're just sitting there going, okay, is there going to be a late safety car? It's going to be a late safety car. And then in the end, just went in and just put 7 litres in and finished with the same set of tyres.
That's why I didn't want to overcommit with the fuel strategy. I thought if I take 35 and then, if we get a safety car or 2, then might even be able to make it. But
I ended up thinking, I'll try and have fresh tyres at the end, go a bit later.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good little battle, Nathan. Here we go. Braden's in, so he's reacted. Marty's stayed out, of course, as you see, filled up quite full. And Lester Craig in a great little battle here with Callahan. The Witt's in the lane as well. So starting to see a few boys roll in now. Now lap 29. Still some good battles a bit further back. Paddock friend Cadman Bright
Oh, good little group.
Baldock involved in the action here as well. He rolls into the lane.
How was your car after the incident, John? Did you have much damage? Did you take a fast repair straight away?
No, I didn't. I didn't take the fast repair. It was mainly side impact, so it didn't seem too bad.
Yep.
Wasn't stressing too much with it. Cadman looking to the inside here on Patterson. Gets the job done. Nice move. Where's Lester?
One of the few passing opportunities, coming into the keyhole.
Yeah, I set mine. I've got to fix up some things because auto fuel's turning itself back on again. But generally, I'll set my fuel up on the grid, and then on the stream deck, I can bump it up or down 10 litres pretty quickly if I have to, going into the lane. It's pretty much what I do. I think most of the guys in my team do the same. They set the fuel at that stage. Some of them use Crew Chief, then they use the voice prompts of Crew Chief. And, you know, that's not uncommon to hear Baldock all of a sudden scream out, fill car 40 litres or some rubbish like that.
We'll get out the way, Van Ray.
Oh, get that all the time. You're holding me up. What are you doing?
Don't need a pit stop for that. Oof.
Oi, oi.
Hot.
Very hot. That was a big little tap there. A very lucky boy. He managed to pull that up. That is one of the stones everywhere, but he managed to pull that up off the wall. So they did pretty well not to make that any worse than what it was. So you can go into the Appo and iFile and turn off the auto refueling. I know that much. I haven't done it myself yet. I think there was a setting in options as well where you can have it set as off.
I was finding I was getting that as well though, John. Like I'd wind the fuel down on the grid, sitting on the grid, and then I'd come into the pits and I'd check my fuel window and it had already reactivated to full fuel. So yeah, it's like resetting at some stage. So must be some setting I've got done incorrectly. Just got to stay on it and be aware.
Yeah. This is one of those ones you got to watch. You know, and because the iRacing auto fuel, it takes a couple of laps and then sets its fuel target. So it kind of cooks you out a little bit and turns itself on. So yeah.
A few times coming into pit, like pit entry, and I look at my window and it's back on full fuel, and I'm quickly winding dials to try and get the fuel numbers down. It never comes down fast enough when you want it to. Luke said, "What's wrong? What's wrong? The track's not wet." And I'll be quite glad with that, Luke.
Hats off to Luke. I'll tell you, Luke's thrown in the deep end literally when we start talking about rain and water on Monday night with very little notice. It's for race control. Here you go, boys. We're in the rain. And hats off to them. They did a magnificent job. They should be proud with what they did. We're pretty chuffed with how they looked after themselves.
I live in Swan Hill, obviously, and I was telling someone today I've got to Google rain to see what it is.
Yeah. Been a fair while, hasn't it?
It has, shocking.
Decent rain.
We've had a very dry summer over here as well. We had a bit of rain last week in New Zealand, and I've forgotten what it looked like.
Yeah.
I know we've had a very dry 12-month period down in the southeastern corner, or in the Western Victoria, Northern Victoria.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like changing too much anytime soon, too, to be honest. And they've got all this water coming down through the Channel Country up north. Where are we up to? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Saw a video from Birdsville races, also from the Birdville racecourse, and where I was standing at the races, they would be about 4 feet deep in water. So that's pretty scary as well, I thought.
Crazy.
So Sanford into the lane. Callahan about to take the rightful position in P1 again. And Hughes in P2. Marty Hughes in P3. Adam still has to do his second stop. So second stops, Doug Wright still got to do one. O'Neill still got to do one. Van Rees still got to do one. And that's it. Everyone else is pitted. And it's lap 33. We'll just keep a bit of an eye on Adam here. And a little wide. Keeps it out of the sand though. It has...
So easy to do if you're a bit late on the brakes and you don't trust yourself with your downshifts.
And that's brought Pillow right up onto the back of him. And Hughes peels off for that final stop. So Pillow moves into third. Jump on with Favreau. He's still running in the top 10. Another one of our rookies doing really well. Start lap 34.
Slatson's doing all right too.
Yeah, he's up 19 spots. Or 20 spots now. He's getting past Wilco. Let's see what Wilco can do. See if he can hang on. Big swear Slater trying to get some moves done up the front here. Bit of lap traffic here as well. Okay, works his way to the inside. Oh, big lock up. Hang on to it, Slats.
Did well to get his mojo back up and running.
Definitely did. Right, Wilco nicely buying himself some time here. Bruce Galloway is sitting in 19th. Great drive from him. Up 11 spots.
And saying that with Sean saving that near spin before, I found the Gen 3 car is definitely a lot easier to save than the Gen 2 car.
Yep.
Under brakes, bit of a reverse lock, you can normally save it and gather it up, but the old car, once you started going, you're a passenger.
Exactly. The Luke Allman, no, it is going to be dry, and I say dry in the sense that it's not going to rain at all. Tomorrow night at Donington for the over 50s, they've had their wet race out of their 5. I'm not going to dish up too much more to those guys. I think that they suffered enough last week.
Was they trying to decide whether he rung in sick or not?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Your next comment was going to be, I'm busy tomorrow night.
Deciding whether to book therapy or not.
What did Paddo say? He's washing the cats there.
Luke's still sitting in the corner rocking. Find my happy place.
And Callahan still holding the lead here from Marty Hughes. Fellow in third, O'Loughlin in fourth, Sanford fifth, Favreau in sixth. Tommy DeWitt in seventh, up 4 spots. Rob Baxter sitting in eighth. He's doing quite well for himself as well. And ninth, Brad Grant. Adam Hughes rounds out our top 10. And how's our mate Mr. Pickering going? So Slater into the pits. Pico in a bit hot. Manages to hang on to it.
Well done.
Done very well. And
Took evasive action.
done very well to get out of that one.
You'd have been gutted if he'd swerved out of the other car's way there and went onto the grass again.
Yeah, you wouldn't be happy.
How are you going up the front there with making inroads into Daryl, Marty? Were you catching a middle?
No, it was very consistent, probably until probably the last bit. Then I think the fresher tyres might have come into it a bit. Probably, I don't know. I reckon if it was another lap or two, might have got there, but wasn't to be. But no, he drove very well. Just seemed to be the same distance for about 10 or 12 laps, I reckon.
Yep.
I'd get closer on some bits, he'd pull away on others. We sort of had different lines.
I think this is about the time
No,
our
friend
friend Mr.
disappeared.
Pillow, disappeared.
Yeah, that was a bit heartbreaking for him.
Gutting for him. I messaged him afterwards. And yeah, it's so frustrating.
They move Braden into third, up 10 spots. Lap 37 of 42, getting to the pointy end now.
Never the way you want to get a position.
No.
I think I'd got it down to about 2.5 seconds behind KO, and I was like, I made a mistake in one lap and lost a couple of seconds, and then I thought, oh, I'm just happy with fourth. I'll sit there, and then couldn't believe it when I saw him drop out.
Having a look back in 12th, this is Schaefer. He's up 7 spots. In front, we've got Lester Craig and Patterson, so these boys still having a ding-dong battle. Hutto doing well, hanging on to the top 10.
Good drive.
Doing very well.
Pretty consistent, Pat, eh?
Doing quite good. Bruce Galloway, he's all over the back of Anita at the moment. Cadman involved in this battle as well, so this is a good little fight. All these guys are up 10, 13, and Cadman's up 22 spots.
We were driving to... we're building a house over in South Australia, and we were driving there last week, and we only had about 5 k's to go, and the road between Murray Bridge and Goolwa is a bit windy, so and I had an opportunity to pass this car, and the missus goes, "Oh, look, we're nearly there, just sit behind him." I said, "But that could be the difference between first and second." So I passed it.
Let's get jump up here. Rob Baxter, he's under a bit of pressure from Brad Grant. So the rookie from Team AJR. Doing quite well. the wit in front of these boys. He's managed to get himself up into 6th. It's a good recovery drive from him. Up 5 spots. Vero down 2, but in 5th. So the rookie hanging on.
Still a solid drive, yeah.
Sanford in 4th. So he's got a bit of time up his sleeve back to Favero. O'Loughlin, 11 seconds behind Hughes, and then Hughes still within striking distance of Callahan, but the clock is definitely ticking down here on lap 39 of 42.
I think I need to get a better profile picture, something more like Sanford's one.
Yeah, he's still running the Hoff one. Thought you about to say you needed one like Paddock's.
Don't know if my profile picture will have my shirt unbuttoned like that though. No one wants to see that.
Callahan doing very well here. 3 laps to go.
Set at 0.6, 0.7 a second until into that race.
It's definitely held station.
That lap, but
More stones flung up under the circuit. Brad done. Grant having a bit of a spin there. That's a little bit costly. Let's put him back down into 8th. And you've tucked right up behind now, Marty.
yeah, it was pretty close from here to the end, actually. I reckon he gets a little love tap here somewhere.
Of course, Steve finished on the podium or driver of the day. Make sure you jump in and upload your paint so that Reg can do the artwork, make you look beautiful.
It's a tough job.
It does a sensational job, Reg. So we are now on the penultimate lap, or the final lap, sorry, that was the penultimate lap. This is the final lap now. I have been told, under good authority, that I need to keep an eye on 2 battles here. So we'll stay up here for these boys. They roll
What's
through.
going on? Getting a bit nervous.
Bit of traffic in front. This makes it even more nervous.
Definitely throws a spanner in the works. You don't know where to look.
Speaking of where to look, I've been told to look here. Big move from Leicester up the inside. And Robin blind. Schaefer steals it. Callahan 0.2 behind now. That is a steal and a half, Daniel. A steal and a half. I hope Pato gave you change for that.
Follow the freight train through.
Yep. This is a great drive from Daryl Callahan.
Yeah, well done, Daryl.
Should be
Well held on.
Pretty chuffed with that one. Marty Hughes home in second. Braden O'Loughlin in third. Jeff Sanford, he would be pretty happy with that. That is some good bag full of points, coming home in fourth, up 2 spots. Bavero, the rookie, brings it home in fifth. DeWitt sneaks it home in sixth. He'd be pretty happy with that one as well. Robert Baxter is up 3 spots in seventh, so that's a consistent drive for him. Brad Grant is going to come home in 8th, just in front of Adam Hughes. Lester Craig will take out 10th in front of Schaefer. Patterson all the way back in 12th after being robbed. Jeff Eddy in 4th. Freya, Wilkinson, Cadman up 24 spots. And then Bruce Galloway up 13. Anita Buckland is in 18, Pico 19th, and Darren Friend rounded out the top 20. So I guess we'll start, boys, with drive of the day. Any thoughts for that one?
Yeah, it's a few good drives there.
I reckon Nathan's a pretty good drive. Up 24.
Anytime you can gain 24 spots.
Yeah, it's decent effort.
Yeah, okay. I think I'll go with that one as well. The guy is quick. I'll give him that much. Flashing lights at me is like a red flag at a bull. So hopefully he's learnt something from that one from this race. So our Chubby Buns drive of the day is Nathan Cadman. I've written that right.
Nathan.
Well done, Nathan. And should be pretty chuffed with that one. We will go back to Daryl Callahan. He's not with us, but I'm sure he would have people he want to thank, and also people that he'd like to show his appreciation for. And we move on to second place, Marty Hughes from Pacific Esports. Anyone you want to give a shout out to, Marty?
Just everyone in the vets and all the guys, it was quite good with the blue flags this week. Everyone raced pretty well, I reckon. And were letting us up the front through, which was, well done by everybody.
Not too easy. And, of course, the man who wasn't, that is all wrong up there because we went to lap 42. I wonder if I go to lap 42, it'll fix the graphics up. And then, of course, the man, the myth, the legend who finished in third was Braden O'Loughlin. Braden, anyone you want to give a shout out to, mate?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, just want to thank all the guys on my team who helped me try and drive these things. We've got a couple of V8 guys on the team, Mark and Rob, who give me a few tips. So thanks to those guys. Thanks to the rest of the guys on the team for all the support they give me. And thanks to our sponsors, Juiced Energy, RaceKraft, Sid Speed, and Stodhor. Thanks for all your help and support. And thanks to you too, John. Awesome, another broadcast, another week under the belt.
Definitely. We got it done Sunday night, but we got it done. And, of course, we are back again next week at Donington in the wet. And, yes, the broadcast will be back on Friday night. So it'll be Good Friday. Sure everyone will be in holiday mode, so it'll be pretty festive session for us. I know a few people away as well, but that's the reason why we have 2 drops to counteract some of these dates. Want to have a very quick look as we move forward now. We've got, of course, 3 rounds in the bank. So let's have a look at the championship board. So this doesn't include any of our official drop rounds. So Callahan is on 518 points ahead of Schaefer, who is on 496. Baxter on 482, sitting in third. Adam Hughes in fourth. Braden O'Loughlin in fifth. Peter Wilkinson in fifth. Marty Hughes in seventh. Lester Craig eighth. Darren Friend rounds out the top 10. And Luke Powell sitting back there in 22. But with 2 wins and a DNS under his belt, no drop rounds counted yet. So that's probably not weighing into the equation there. But you can sort of see, if you sort of discard Luke, and I know Luke's away for a few more events as well, so he may probably not get enough points for a championship challenge. So in saying that, you start looking at Callahan, you start looking at Schaefer, Baxter, Hughes, O'Loughlin, and even Wilco. That top 5 is an epic battle already, and I think it's going to be a very, very tight contest all the way to the end. And I think every race is going to matter, irrespective if it's going to be a drop or not. I think you want to be maximising your points. So really looking forward to seeing this championship start to head into the mature phase where it's heading. But Callahan, he's going to take some beating, boys.
That's for
Yeah,
sure.
he definitely had some pace. He'll need some catching.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, as I said, this week, Donington, I believe, or don't believe, I know, we're going to have some rain in the morning. It's going to rain very early in the morning and clear during the event. So for those that did the over 50s or watched the over 50s, it's going to be a drying track. It's going to be very strategic in when you change over or how you handle your tyres. Really looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Again, I think split 4 boys, you haven't, make sure you do a little bit of driving in the wet and a little bit of driving on a slippery track just to get used to what you're going to be up against. Yeah, it's more drive to survive than it is drive to win. Mentality will work a lot better in your favour, as it's probably a fair chance there's going to be a few boys falling off. And of course, we're lucky at Donington, plenty of open spaces around the circuit, so hopefully not too much car damage in terms of having to bring out the safety car. Any thoughts on Donington, boys?
Yeah, no, it's a great track. Love the track. Yeah, just never done it in the wet. So, like you say, get some practice laps in the wet and get acclimatised. But looking forward to it.
Might be a good opportunity to put your throttle maps down, I reckon.
Yeah.
Less for your acceleration, I reckon.
And it could be a leveler.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Of course, Craig Healy came out, beat all the top guns in the wet here at Mid-Ohio on Monday night. So great to see Heels, one of the AGs, up there battling it out, but also great to see a fresh name, smart driver, driving very smartly and getting rewarded for it. So definitely going to be a bit of fun, I think. Anyway, on that note, being a Sunday night, we might wrap the broadcast up. A huge thank you, of course, to Marty and Braden for jumping in, giving me company while we do it. Huge thank you to everybody out in the chat watching. Got surprisingly good numbers again, being a Sunday night. I wasn't expecting the numbers we got, but they're very grateful everyone jumping in and watching and getting involved in the chat as well. It's what makes this broadcast work well, is everyone getting involved. And a huge thank you, of course, to our race control, to our league sponsors, and of course, a huge thank you to the committee and management group who do a fantastic job running the league. So on that note, we will see everybody again next week. Thanks for watching.
Introducing the RaceKraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with the 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a RaceKraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The RaceKraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.